Hi guys, welcome to my video explaining the Bitmex exchange. Just from the get-go, I want to let you know this is targeted at beginners. So if you're new to the cryptocurrency space, if you're new to exchanges, perhaps you've used other exchanges, Bitmex does things a little bit differently, so this might be useful to you. I also want to say that in the description I'll have referral links to different exchanges. If you use those, I would really appreciate it. These exchanges are making plenty of money, believe me. Let's keep it in the community. It would really help me out. So yeah, that's my little shill. This is going to be fairly informal. I'm just going to go through the different areas on the page and explain what does what. So let's start with the order form. Up here are our order types. It'll be set to limit by default. A limit order is when I want to place something on the order books. So say if I want to go long, I can place it in this from this number down if I want to go short from this number above. If I have selected limit order but I still put in a higher, say I want to go long but I've pressed 441 instead of a number from down here, that will execute a market order, which as we're beginners we want to avoid that because we do not want to be paying taker fees. I'll explain more about that once I've gone through the orders, but you do not want to be doing that initially. So placing a limit order, if I'm long I want to be in these numbers down here, if I'm short I want to be in these numbers up here, and that's what I want to be doing, so I get the rebate instead of the fee. A market order is if I want to execute immediately. So say the market's moving quickly and I just want to go short, I can just put my order in here, hit sell market, and that's going to execute immediately at the price. But the way that Bitmex matches orders is a little different to other exchanges. It's actually peer-to-peer. So when you buy a contract, you're purchasing that directly from another user. So you can have, when there's high volume, the market moves quickly. There could be a lot of orders coming in just before yours, and you're going to get filled different to where you want to be. I'm sure there's times where this is useful, but as a beginner, you probably do not want to be using market orders. Here we have a stop market. This can help us if we're in a position to sell out of our, so let's take for example I have a position open on TRX. My entry is at 439. Let's say I think if it goes below here that I'm going to lose, I think my trade's a bad trade, I want to get out of it. I can set my market stop for here, and that's going to execute immediately as soon as it hits that price, but there will be some slippage. Slippage is, as I explained before, well, it's the same thing that I just explained. I might set my buy stop at 434 and it might get filled at 430. That's just again due to the way that Bitmex operates. There might be a lot of people who have stop markets in that exact same spot. It's unfortunate, but it's how it works. Stop market's the only way to get a guaranteed exit on your trade though. So that plays into the next one, which is stop limit. Stop limit, I have my stop price and my limit price. How this works, it's the same principle. If it hits 434, I can set the price that I want to sell, which is my limit price. So I would say, if it hits 434, I want to sell at 430. Okay, so as soon as it hits 434, my order at 430 is going to get placed, and I want that to get picked up. I said we shouldn't use market orders, but when using stops, you should use a stop market. As periods of high volatility, what can happen with limits, and it's happened to me before, if you don't have the limit set far away enough, when your stop gets hit, the market will sell all the orders past and yours is going to get left on the order book. This means it didn't get filled, you're actually still in the position and now you're at risk of liquidation. So stop market would be my advice, but that's totally up to you if that's how you want to do it. Trailing stop can be really good, really useful. Some people really enjoy using it. If the way I like to use a trailing stop, if I get into good profit, so my entry is at 439, not good profit, but if I get into profit, let's say my entry is at 439 and price hits 449, what I can do is instead of monitoring it and setting a sell already, I can set a trailing stop of 10. Now price can continue up, and until it comes back down 10 points, my order will not trigger. So I might go up, come back 5, then keep going up. So it's a way of sort of locking in profit. You don't have to watch the trade as much. It can be good for peace of mind. I don't mind using them. I don't use them all the time, but it is a useful tool. Then what else have we got? Take profit limit, take profit market. Yeah, similar to the stops. Okay, now, so here is where you put in the amount. Oh, let's go back to limit, sorry. This is where you're going to be making your initial order. Here is where you put in your quantity and your price. Basic. This white line here is telling you the chances of you getting an immediate fill. See how it's not all the way there? So let's say if I click this here, now you notice that the long goes all the way here. That means I have a 100% chance if I press this button of that order getting filled. But that means it's going to do a market order. But I just wanted to explain to you what this white line means. Here we have order value. Can be useful when you're playing with high leverage to let you know exactly how much you're risking. These are really useful right here. So post only. This is, if you're a new person, if you're new to the exchange, I would have this selected. What that's going to do, it means that if I want to place the order, it cannot execute at market. Oh, there you go. It won't execute at market. So that's going to avoid me from getting hit with that taker fee. So as a beginner, you don't want to be paying that because it's going to reduce your trading balance each time you do that. So I would say select post only. Now let's say I click here and I put in a long and I go buy long. It's going to cancel that order. See, brings up an error because I've got post only. It's not going to allow me to make a market order and get that fee. Hidden we'll skip for now because this is for beginners. Reduce only can be useful if I'm in a position and I want to just take a little bit of profit off. So say as it's gone up a few percent, I want to remove 50% of my position. How I would do that right now, this is in a long. So I would open up a short and it's going to set a limit order. And when it hits that price, it's going to sell that for me. And that means it can only reduce a position I already have. So I could open a really large short, bigger than what my position is, but it's only going to reduce what's available. So that's good for taking profit on the way up. Before I go too far, I will explain how the fee system works, just so you understand why you don't want to be using market orders. So when I create a limit order and it goes onto the books, when that order gets filled, I actually get 0.025% back. So that's given to me for entering a position. Obviously, even a small amount, we want to be getting anything that we can get. We don't want to reduce our trading balance at all. If I execute a market order, it takes 0.075% as a fee from me. Obviously, that's a lot worse than getting 0.025. So that's why we don't want to use market orders. They add up a lot, especially when you're using high leverage. Bitcoin goes up to 100x leverage. When we're using high leverage, there's also fees added there. So the fees can really add up, and that's how Bitmex makes its money. We don't want to give them money. Like I said with the referrals, we want to keep that money amongst the community. So let's make sure we're trying to use limit. We're trying to get the maker rebate, not the taker fee. Another quick thing about fees is you never want to get you do not want to get your position liquidated. Some people, when they begin margin trading, they think that one way to have a stop is your liquidation point. Please do not do this. If there's one thing you take from this video, do not use your liquidation as your stop. So if you see here, my liquidation price is 0.0429 because I have higher leverage. I do not want to let price get there. So if you have to put a market stop above that, because when you're liquidated, Bitmex takes an additional fee, and this is where they really make the money. So we do not want that maintenance fee added that they take when we get liquidated, because it's just giving money away for nothing. If you press this calculator here, you can see where your liquidation price is based on your position. Do not let it hit that liquidation price. Please make sure you either have a stop market or a stop limit that's going to get you out of that position, because the fee does add up. I've found it hard to actually track down exactly what they take, but they take a bit, and I believe they have taken 7,000 Bitcoin in fees, which they have in a emergency fund, which is a good thing, gives traders peace of mind, but you can just see how much they've taken from people getting liquidated, so we don't want that. All right, sorry, I went off on a tangent. Let's keep going. This is information about your position. This is my current position. So right now I'm down 4.56%. Uh-oh, no, that's fine. So here's where you can, before making your entry, you can choose your leverage. So let's go to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has the big boy leverage, the stuff where you get wiped out really quickly. I don't recommend going above 25x leverage. As I said, there's a bit of a fee involved with leverage that increases the higher you go. So you're going to be paying, again, more fees. They can really get you with fees, guys. As you're someone starting out, please keep your fees down. It's going to keep you in the game longer. What you don't want as a beginner is cross leverage. What cross leverage means is my entire account balance, not even my available, my entire account balance is used as leverage for the position. This means if the position turns against me and I get liquidated, if you have like a big spike up, like a couple of years ago when Bitcoin dropped 30% in 5 minutes, had you had cross leverage selected, that would liquidate your entire account. We don't want that. Also, it uses open positions. So say that I had 2 positions open. One's in profit, one's losing money. It's going to take the profit from my other open position to cover the leverage for my losing trade. So it can be useful for advanced traders. We don't want to be risking our entire account on any trade. So I recommend keeping it below 25. For beginners, here is just 1 for 1. That's fine. Go up to 5x, have a play around. I usually have around 10x on my trades. I'm in a competition at the moment, so I'm trying to win that. So I've got a bit higher leverage than usual. But as a beginner, don't go too high leverage. Definitely don't go above 25x, because then the fees are adding up, and that's going to just keep reducing your position. This is information about our instrument. Speaking of instruments, over here, so here's each market that is traded. This actually is brand new. This came in today, and they're up 98% on whoever took this. You can see here there's a lot of time that no trades were taken. So that's showing you that this is brand new. Not many people are using it. Has it got the volume anywhere? Anyway, this is brand new, so I'm not going to talk about this because I don't understand it yet. I'll have to have a look into it. But you've got Bitcoin, ADA or Cardano, Bitcoin Cash, EOS, Ethereum, Litecoin, Tron, Ripple. They actually updated the trading engine last year and added Ethereum USD, and it actually took up all the space. And so I don't think they'll be adding any more tokens in the near future because the trading engine is at capacity until they do some upgrades, which I think they want to do by third quarter in 2019. Anyway, here are what you can trade. Bitcoin has the highest leverage. Ethereum you can do up to 50x, and other alts are 20x. So that's where you can select what you want to trade. Be aware, as a beginner, Bitcoin has high liquidity. What does that mean? That means that there are a lot of orders. They're always getting processed. This is recent trades down here. They're always happening, and you're more likely to get filled. And the market, you want high liquidity because, see this blue line here? That's the underlying market. Bitmex, you're trading Bitcoin, but you don't actually trade Bitcoin. You're trading with the other end of the trade. I'll explain a little bit better. As I said at the start, it's peer-to-peer. So the price of Bitcoin can move, and if this doesn't exactly follow the price, it generally does because of the way the Bitmex is set up and the fees and the rebates, but it doesn't have to. Now these alts that are on lower liquidity, because they're not traded as much, it's a little bit more loose how closely it follows the market structure or the actual price of the asset. So it could be a little bit risky. I don't mind trading alts on Bitmex, but technically it is more risky because you might miss large price movements. If the users aren't choosing a trade, then it's just not going to go to that price. So you might get a big move that never happens on Bitmex, but Bitcoin will always follow because it is the most traded asset, the most liquid asset. Here's the order book. So you want to be using this when choosing where to place your shorts and your longs. This here is a depth chart. This is showing how many orders. You might have just noticed that the longs have really just shown up. There's a lot of shorts. As a beginner, it can be scary, not scary, but it can influence your decisions when you see a big wall, a big price wall, and you're going to think, wow, like price is going to move down in reaction to that. I would pay little attention to large walls. They can be used to bluff, to try to influence the market. I don't think, in my experience, it doesn't have an actual effect. What I would use the depth chart for is for choosing where to place my order. So if I want to get my long filled, I can see down here around 5,310, that's a pretty big gap up. So if I put my order down here at 5309.5, I'm less likely to get filled. And if I'm certain I want to get long, I want to get filled. So I would use it around here where it's these smaller steps. So I would put it probably, 5311, something like that. So that's what I use this for. But I wouldn't be using it to decide whether I'm going to go long or short. It's just people can bluff. People can bluff this. This has my active positions. This means my position has happened. If I have an order, if I place a new order, it's not going to be in these positions. It's going to be under active orders. Till it gets filled, then it's going to go into positions. Close positions, stops. When you have your stop, your market stop or your limit stop, that's going to appear under here. You've also got your fills and your order history. Here is recent trades, fairly straightforward. Who's buying, who's selling. See, look at that. If you had have seen that big green wall, you might have thought, wow, I got to get long. Obviously, the market's there. Now look at this, $2.7 million is pushing back. And guess what? That doesn't mean you should go short. So don't worry about these big walls that pop up. Don't let them influence you. Just stick to your guns. You should already have an idea of which way you want to go. And yeah, do it that way. Here is our chart. So if you want, you can draw lines on this. If you know about TA. I have magnet mode turned on. How the hell did I do that? Magnet mode. All right, let's turn that off. I'll quickly explain what that is, just so you know what I'm talking about. When I go to draw this line, here I can draw it anywhere. Okay? When I have magnet mode turned on, it's going to stick to the candle where I press it, and it's going to go exactly to the candle. So it can be good for drawing lines perfectly accurate. So anyway, that's not turned on by default. So I just want to explain why that's happening. So you can draw your lines out here. I've added RSI as that's a tool that I use. You can add that in indicators. Here, you can add your RSI or something like that if you know how to use those. If not, seek out some education about that. And let's see, what else have we got? I think that's about all. I think that's good for a beginner video. So I hope that's helpful. Please post any questions. I'm going to be looking to create more educational videos to help out people, particularly new traders. I want to make sure, we all do well. So please use the referral link if you feel. If not, I just hope this video helped you. That will make me happy. Let me double check, make sure I haven't missed anything. Up here, trading, account, contract, this is all standard. No, I think that's it. So please hit me up with any questions. If I missed anything, let me know below. I'll be happy to help you out. And good luck. I'll see you on Bitmex. Thanks, guys.